Hi everyone, welcome back. Now that our Moodle site is set up and ready for use, we can now start creating our course categories as well as our courses. Now I'll be working on my subdomain, so if you're working on your main domain, it doesn't really matter as long as you can follow along. First, let's go to Site Administration and then click on Courses. Once Courses is open, you can click on Manage Courses and Categories. And here we will be creating categories and courses. Now on your left will be the categories and on your right will be the courses. You'll see that there's a blue line on the left of your category. This indicates that this category is active. And once this category is active, you will see all the courses within that particular category. If you want to create a category, all you need to do is click on Create New Category. So we'll click on that. It will then present you with this window. First, we need to specify in which parent category will this be. Now, the parent category determines the subcategories. So if you want to remove that, you can click on the X and it will be removed. But now you need to select a parent category. So you can select it from the drop-down list and you'll see there's a top, and this means that this is the main category. This can become a parent category. So I'll call this Moodle Basics 101. So that will be my first category. I can provide a category ID and I can provide a category description, but I'll leave that for now. I'll click on Create Category, and there are categories created. Now you'll see that this category is active, and this one is not active. Now you'll see that next to the category, there's an eye icon. If you click on that, it will hide this category. But not only this category, it will also hide the courses within that category. So if you want to unhide it, you just click on the eye again. You can also move the category up and down by clicking on the arrow. If you click on the up arrow, it will move it up. If you click on the down arrow, it will move it down. So let's leave it on the top category there. Then there's the ellipsis there. You can click on that. Here you can view the category. If you click on view, you'll see you can now view that particular category, and once we create courses, you will see all the courses in here. I'll close this. You can also edit the category by clicking on edit, and you'll be back on this screen. You can add your category ID or description if you forgot it, and then you can click on save again. Here you can also create a new subcategory for that category. You can delete the category. You can specify permissions, and we will deal with this in later videos. You can specify cohorts. You can filter this category. You can restore a course in this category, and you can access the content bank of this category. For now, we'll create another category. So let's click on Create a New Category, and we'll call that category Moodle Intermediate 101, and we'll click on Create Category. That will create the category there. You'll see what happened. If we go back, you'll see that we didn't change the parent category. If we don't change the parent category, it will fall under the active category there. We can then click on the X there and then choose Top. Click on Save Changes, and there you'll see there's our two categories. Let's create another category. Make sure that you select Top and then type Moodle Advanced 101. Scroll down and click on Create Category. So now we have our three categories. Now we don't need this category, so I'll show you how to delete a category. So click on the ellipsis and then click on Delete. This will ask you if you're sure if you want to delete this. I'll click on delete, click on continue, and there our categories deleted. So now we have our 3 main categories there. Before we create our courses in our categories, we need to set our default settings for our courses. So let's click on Site Administration and then click on Courses, and under Default Settings you'll see Course Default Settings. There's also Default Activity Completion, and there's also Course Custom Fields. We'll deal with this in this video. So let's click on Course Default Settings. Here under Course Default Settings you'll see the visibility. This is, are you showing the course to participants while you're busy editing the course, or do you want to hide the course? So a good practice will be to hide the course first and then do your editings, and once the course is ready, you can publish the course. So that this is good practice to first hide the course while you're busy. Only you will see the course as the course creator or course administrator, and the other users won't see the course, so hide it. Then enable download of course content. Do you want to enable this or disable this? It's up to you. And if you're using the Moodle mobile app, it's usually a good idea to allow this so that students can download some of your content when they are in Wi-Fi range. Then the number of participants per course. How many participants do you want to see in the course? The default value is 20, so I'll leave it on that. Then our course format. This is the look and the feel of the course. It's currently set to the default as the custom section, but if you click the drop down list, you'll see there's a weekly section, there's a single activity section, as well as a social section. So I'll leave it on custom sections, but in subsequent videos I'll show you how to install course formats from the Moodle plugins directory. Then the maximum number of sections is 52. I'll leave it on that. And then the number of sections that once you create a course, it will create the 4 sections for you. Then hidden sections. This is very important. Hidden sections are completely invisible, or hidden sections are shown as not available. So these are the 2 options available. If you hide, let's say you hide a quiz within your course, should it be completely invisible, or should it just show as not available? And I'll deal with this later in the course. Then the course layout. Show all sections on one page, or show one section per page. I'll leave it on that. And then the course end date enabled by default, I'll usually uncheck that. If you're using the weekly sections, Moodle usually divides the course into weeks, into 52 weeks. And then it's a good idea to turn this course end date on. But since we're using custom sections, I'll leave that off. Then the course duration, you can specify here the course duration. And then under appearance, you can specify if you want to force the language of the course. And then the number of announcements, I'll usually just select 1 here. And then show the gradebook to students. I usually leave this on yes, and show activity reports. I'll also choose yes here, and show activity dates, yes. So I'll deal with this in the course, and I'll show you where this is at. Then the file uploads. If you are allowing students to upload files, so let's say they need to upload a video, a presentation, or any documents, you can specify the megabytes they need to upload, how large the files can be, and so forth. Then completion tracking, leave it on yes, and then show activity completion conditions, leave it on yes. And then groups, if you are using groups, but I'll deal with this within the course. If you're using groups, you can specify here separate groups, and I'll leave it on separate groups. Force, you'll leave on no. Then communication, I'll usually leave it on none. I'll click on Save Changes. And now from here onwards, all the courses that we will be creating will have the default settings, and I'll show you all the settings within the course we are creating. So we're now ready to set up our first course. So let's click on Courses and then click on Manage Courses. So the first course we'll create is in the Moodle Basics 101 category. So I'll click on that category to make sure that it's active, and you'll see it's active when you see the name of the category in the top bar there. Let's click on Create a New Course, and then you'll see the Create New Course window will open. Now the first thing we need to do is add the course full name. So I'll call this Moodle Question Bank 101. Okay, so this is my course name, and then the short name should be unique. So there shouldn't exist any other name as this short name for this course. So I'll call it MDL and then underscore and that Q for question and then B for bank and then the 101. So I use underscores for my short names. Then I'll make sure that it's in the correct course category. So it's in Moodle Basics 101. If it's not in the correct category, you can click the drop down list and select the correct category. You'll see we've already set this in our course default settings in the previous video. We set it to hide. There's also a course start date and a course end date. Remember, we've unchecked the course end date, but if you know your course is starting on the 12th of April 2025, you can set the date, but you need to make sure that you specify the date and the time to make this active. And then you can also specify a course end date by enabling this and then modifying the dates and the time. Then you can have a course ID. I'll leave it blank for now, and usually I use the course short name as my course ID, so I'll paste it in there. This is basically where, if you're using LTI integration, you can pull information from the course ID, okay, or any other external integrations. Then we can specify a course description, but I'll leave that blank for now, as well as the course image. I'll leave that blank for now. So now we come to the course format. So currently we've set it in our default settings as the custom settings or the custom sections, but we can choose a different one here. Remember, we specified there should only be 4 sections, and this is fine. And then hidden sections are completely invisible. And then course layout, show all course sections on one page. And then the appearance, we do not force the language. The number of announcements is 1, and we show the gradebook, the activity report, as well as the activity dates. Then for our file upload, I've specified it to 10 megabytes, remember. And then for my completion tracking, I've said yes, enable tracking, and yes for activity completion conditions. Under groups, we've set it to separate groups. So you'll see you don't have to complete anything here if you've already set it in your course default settings. Then under tags, I won't bother with tags now, but you can add tags. Let's just move up to where you see the course description. So I have prepared a course description. I'll just paste it in here. So here I'll just give a breakdown or an overview of the course, what it entails, and the students can see. Then for my course image, usually I go to Pixabay. I'll just go to Pixabay, and here I'll search for course image, or you can type in a theme. So I'll use any one of these images. So let's use this image here, or rather use this image. Okay, so I'll click on that. I'll then click on download. I can choose a size dimension, so I'll leave it on 1280960. I'll download that. So once it's downloaded, I'll go to my course. I'll either click on the plus here or click on the arrow pointing down. Then I'll go to upload file, choose a file, and then I'll select that particular file. I'll upload that, and then I'll scroll down. If I'm happy with everything, I'll click on save and display. And there our course is created. So we see 4 sections, and there's our course name. Now if you go to my courses, you'll see that the course, there's my course with my course image as well as my course name, and you'll see that it's hidden from students. And this is how easy it is to set up your course. Remember, if you've set the default course settings, there's not much you need to do with setting up or creating the course. Now that we've set up our course, let's go through the features here within the course. Now remember, I referred to it as a course, but it's actually a course shell because we don't have any activities or anything in the course in this course shell yet, so it's called the course shell. So on your left here, you'll see the menus, and you'll see the menu items correspond to the sections here. So new section, this is the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one, and we have a general section with the announcement there. When you click on settings, you'll see you go back to the course settings where we added the description and added the image, the course image and course formats. So that's the settings tab. If you click on the participants tab, you'll see you will be able to see all your participants that is enrolled in the course. So you'll see you can filter down from A to Z, first name and last name. You can also clear filters and apply filters. Then next to it is your grades. The grader report shows you what the student's name, the student's email address, and the total in the course. But you can also drill down to grade history, overview report, single view, grade summary, and user report. You can also go into the gradebook setup, but this we will deal with in other videos. Course grade settings, preferences, scales, grade letters, import and export. Then if you click on reports, you will see a competency breakdown, logs, live logs, activity report, and course participation. On the More menu, there's a drop-down list where you can access the question bank, more on this later, the content bank, the course completion settings, badges, competencies, filters, unenroll me from this course, LTI external tools, and then accessibility toolkit and the course reuse feature. Going back to the course, so we're back in our course shell. If you want to modify anything in the course, you need to turn editing on. So you need to be in edit mode to actually change these settings. So if I click on turn editing on, you'll see the pencil icons next to the elements that I can change. You will also see add an activity or resource where you can click on to add an activity or a resource. If you want to do bulk actions within the course, you can click on bulk action and these tick boxes becomes available. You'll also see the bar here at the bottom where you can select all. You can make it available or unavailable for students. You can duplicate certain sections. You can move it around or you can delete it. If we want to exit the bulk action menu, you click on the X here and it will return to our normal state. If you want to move things around, you'll see if you hover over a section, it becomes like a crosshair. You can then click and drag to where you want to place it. That section will then end up here. If you want to add more sections, you can click on add more sections and it will add another one. So each time you click on add a section, it will add a section. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. If we add one more section, we'll have 8. So if you want to delete a section, so let's say I want to delete this section with all the activities in it, I can click on the ellipsis and then I can click on delete. I can also click on view, which will only show me that particular section. I can click on edit settings. If I go to edit settings, I can change the name of the section. I can provide a description. I can also restrict access to users. So if you want to go back to your course, you click on the breadcrumb. Then under the ellipsis is also highlight this section, duplicate this section, hide it, move it, delete it, or use the permalink where it provides you with a link where you can share it with students and they can click on it. So let's see the permalink. You can copy this link and you can share it with your students and they can use that link with their login details to access this course. Now on your right, you'll see there's a drawer here. If you click on it, it will open the drawer here. And here, when we're in edit mode, we can add blocks. Now that you know all the course features, let's go and change the look and the feel of this course shell. So open a new tab and go to moodle.org. Press enter on your keyboard. You will be presented with the homepage of moodle.org. Click on plugins. And then in the plugins type, click on the drop down list to where you see plugin type, any. And then scroll down to where you see course formats. Click on that and it will open all the course formats. Scroll down to where you see advisor course format and click on that. Click on the versions and then you'll see it's available for 4.5. Let's download this plugin by clicking on download or going to versions and then clicking on download next to the correct version. I'll click on download. It will download to my downloads folder on my computer. I'll go back to my course. I'll then right click on site administration and open a new tab. So I'm back in site administration. I'll then go to plugins and then click on install plugins. Now the downloaded file, we can either drag and drop it to that area or we can click on choose file and select the file there. Okay, I'll drag and drop it. I'll then click on install plugins from zip file. I'll then click on continue. And then it gives me a breakdown. It's currently all is okay. I'll click on, you will only be allowed to click OK when the server environment meets all minimum requirements. So I'll click on continue. Then it gives me a breakdown. I'll click on upgrade Moodle database now. And then here I'll click on continue. Everything can be left on its default. I'll just uncheck enable usage tracking. I'll click on save changes. Now it brings me back to our home page. If I go back to my course and then hit refresh, go to your settings, scroll down to where you see course formats, and then in the custom sections, click on that and scroll down to where you see advisor course formats. Select that. You will see other menus become available now. You'll see format is advisor course format. Hidden sections is still hidden sections are completely invisible. Then a new section becomes available. You'll see that you can choose the layout, either card layout or list layout. Let's leave it on card layout. Then hide general section when empty. Course layout, should it be shown one section per page. Under course header image, we can add an image. So let's go to Pexels or Pixabay. Pexels is the other one that you can go to. So here is Pexels. Also free images. I'll search for course. and it provides me with various images. I kind of like this one here, so I'll click on download. It will download to my downloads folder. I can close this, go back to my course settings, click on the arrow pointing down, clicking on choose file, and then I'll just select my image, click on open, and click on upload file. It will upload my image there. Then if you scroll down, you'll see set the section activity summary maximum length. So this is the activity summary maximum. Then set section background image. So we've chosen cards here. So on the cards, you can have a background image, and it asks you here, section background image, hide background image to the section card or show it. Let's leave it on show, and then course header background image. Should it be centered? Should it be top, bottom, left, right? I'll leave it on center. Course header, should it cover? Should it contain? Or should it be auto? I usually leave it on cover. Then change the header overlay opacity. Here you can change the header overlay. Under appearance, we leave it as is. Under file upload, leave it as is. Completion tracking and everything else is good to go. Let's click on save and display. See, while editing the course, this is the theme telling you, I'll just say don't show again. Now when you return to your course, you'll see nothing really changed. But if you deselect edit mode, you'll see that there's our course header, there's the course name. We also have an introduction to the course. You can click on show more and it will give you the breakdown of the course. And this is kind of the course description that we've added in the settings tab. Then you'll see there's our various sections, 8 sections. So if we want to change this to be the full width, we can do this as well. I'm happy with the look and the feel. So please note that whenever you're in editing mode, it will go to the normal Moodle course format. But once you click on uncheck editing mode, then it will show you this. Let's go now to settings again. Remember, we've selected the card layout. Let's look at the list layout. Scroll down and click on saved and display. You'll see it becomes a list format with the arrow there where you can click on it and it will access that particular section. I'll usually leave it on card format because the look and the feel is quite appealing. Then save changes. So there we go. Now that we've created or we've added the course format, a new course format, we are ready to set up our tiles in our course. Now to change these names of the tiles, you need to make sure that editing is turned on. So you need to be in edit mode. So let's click on, make sure that we're in edit mode. Then you'll see the pencil icons appear. This indicates that you can make changes to any element where the pencil icon appears. So for this video, I'll show you how to change these section names. So we'll provide new names for the sections. So if you want to change this, hover over the pencil, you'll see your mouse changes to a hand. Click on it and you'll see that you are now able to type in the box. So I'll call this module 1. Module 1, and then you can give your module a name. So I'll call this Introduction to Moodle's Quiz Environment. So this is my first module, and when you're done typing, press enter on your keyboard and you'll see that the name changes to what you've typed. Now there's also another method you can use to change this by clicking on the ellipses and then clicking on edit sections, and you'll be able to edit the section here. You'll also be able to provide a description here, and then click Save Changes. So this is my first module. So this section here will contain all Module 1 activities. Let's move down to Module 2. Module 2 will be, if I click on the pencil icon, so this will be Module 2, and this will be creating and managing the question bank. Okay. I'll press enter on my keyboard and there's my module 2. So I'll skip a module. So I'll call this module module 4. So let's say we'll call this module 4. And module 4 will be on best practices in quiz design and assessment. I'll press enter, and now for the fourth one I'll call this module 3. So this is module 3, and module 3 is all about building quizzes from the question bank. Okay, I'm happy. Let's make this bank. Press enter. So now you'll see that module 4 is before module 3. If you want to move things around, you can either click on the ellipsis and then click on move. It will ask you where you want to move it to. So now you need to determine, if you click on that area, it will be after this area or after this link that you've selected. If you click on this link, it will stay where it is. There's also another method to move it. You can hover over the section and then drag and drop it. You'll see a black line here appear. You can just release your mouse and it will be placed in that section. Okay, so there's two methods. One, dragging and dropping, and the other one is by clicking on the ellipsis and then clicking on move and then moving it to the particular section. You'll see all the other sections are blue, but this one is dimmed out, which means is that you are moving this one here to a different section. And this is how easy it is to change the topic names or the section names and provide your own names. Now this isn't set in stone. You can also change it to chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, or whatever you want to call your sections. Now you might ask, why don't we change this section here? This section here is usually for announcements, forums, and so forth. So this is your introduction section here. Okay, so we'll call it either the welcome section, introduction section, and you'll place all your announcements or important information before they start the modules in your course. There are also other features you can do in your sections before adding the activities. So if you click on the ellipsis icon, you'll see there's an highlight section there. Okay, if you click on highlight, you'll see that a blue line appears next to the section name. So let's say you want to students to focus on this section. You can highlight this section and their focus will be on this section. If you want to unhighlight it, you just click on unhighlight. Another feature will be if you want to duplicate this section here. So let's say you don't want, I see we've typed best with a small letter. Let's fix that. Let's say you want to copy this section or make a duplicate. All you need to do is click on the ellipsis and then click on duplicate, and it will duplicate that particular section, but it will show you a copy in brackets. And you can change the name afterwards. If you want to remove it, you just click on the ellipsis and click on delete. If you run out of sections here, you can just click on add a new section and it will add a new section for you. Then again on the ellipsis, you'll also see that there's a hide section. So if you are still creating activities in this section here or in the below section and you don't want students to see this section yet. You click on the ellipsis and you click on hide section. This will then be hidden for students. You can click on the drop down list and you can select show on course page and it will show again. So make sure that you hide it if you're still busy with this section, or if you want to unhide it, you just click on the ellipsis and then show section. So let's say you want to add something in the student's calendar, which I'll show you now. You can basically click on the ellipsis and then click on permalink. You can then copy this link and add it to the student's calendar, and this will provide a link in the student's calendar which they can then focus on that particular section. But more on that in subsequent videos.